Class 9, let's continue the class. Turn page number 48, chapter number 5, Landforms of the Earth. So soon after finishing this chapter, we will be doing some map work. So be ready with the 5 world map, because we will be doing we will be marking important plateaus and plains, important plateaus, plains, and important rivers around the world. Right, children? Okay. Okay, now in this chapter, Landforms of the Earth, the topics to be discussed today are formation of block mountains, characteristics of block mountains, residual mountains, plateaus, their classifications, plains, and classification of plains. Right? Okay, let's start today's class. Okay, formation of block mountains. So block mountains, just see the figure of block mountain here. So these are formed due to faulting on the ground surface, right? So faulting, and when there are two parallel fault lines. Two parallel fault line means, are you seeing this parallel fault lines? These are the lines. So these we call it parallel faults. So the block between them and the two parallel fault lines, and when there is compressional forces exerted from both the sides, then what will happen is that maybe either the block between these two fault line may be subduct down, making graben, or maybe this block rise up, making horst there. The raised part we call it horst, and the subduct part is known as graben. So that is in a form of block. That is why we formation of mountain is named as block mountains. Clear? And this is a rift valley. The subduct part is rift valley. Okay, there are several examples of these block mountains of the world, around the world, are Black Forest Mountains, bordering the faulted Rhine Rift Valley in Europe, and Salt Range of Pakistan, as well as the Great Rift Valley running from the East Africa to Syria through the Red Sea, and Narmada River flows through a subsided or faulted basin between Vindhyas and Satpuras, and Damodar River, which flows through a rift valley. So these all are the examples of block mountains and rift valleys around the world. Right? Now next is characteristics of block mountains. So these block mountains are formed by combined forces, process of lifting and faulting and tilting. Right? These mountains have distinctive layers of rock that lie slightly slanted. These mountains have flat tops, steep and small slope towards the rift valley, but slope on the other side is long and gentle. They run along a plate boundary, and fault block mountains often occur when plates are moving apart. So these are the characteristics of block mountains. Now let's talk about the residual mountains or dissected mountains. So when the mountains are subjected to erosion or weathering for a long time, then that mountains will be, the height of the mountain will be lowered. Right? So they are lowered down, and that lowered mountain is known as, or that lowered mountains are known as residual mountains. Right? So they owe their present form to erosion by different agents such as rivers and wind, glaciers, etc. Now erosion that is due to Erosion in that mountain is due to the presence of different agents like river, snow, glaciers, wind, etc. They have been worn down from previously existing elevated regions. Hills like, now here are the examples, hills like Nilgiris, the Girnar and Rajmahal in India are the examples of this type of mountains, right? So that is residual mountains. Most of the hills of southern India are examples of residual mountains. Okay, next is plateau. Now, what is a plateau? A plateau is an elevated flat area, and which is raised from the surrounding area, and its top is flat, right? So top is flat means it is well known by tableland, right? So a plateau is an elevated tract of relatively flat land, limited on at least one side by a steep slope falling abruptly to lower land to its surrounding area. In contrast to mountains, it has a large area on its top and has a flat or undulating surface. So undulating surface means like this. It's not smooth. It's undulating. It has undulating surface, right? And so when we compare with the mountain has a peak, right? But plateau is what? It is also a raised area as like a mountain, but the top is flat. And flat means not smooth, but it is undulating. Clear? Okay, now the rocks of the plateau are layered with sandstone, shales and limestones. It is this arrangement of the strata which gives it a large even surface. But an inclined or a tilted strata may also become flat through continuous wearing down. The Great Deccan Plateau, with its slope towards the east, is tilted plateau in India. Very often rivers and streams cut deep valleys and canyons in a plateau region. It changes its smooth topography into a dissected plateau. So this plateau consists of different layers of strata, means different layers of, and that layers are made up of sandstone, shales and limestones, right? Okay, here it's given the example of the Great Deccan Plateau of India, with its slope towards the east. Slope is towards the east, is tilted plateau in India, and very often rivers and streams cut deep valleys, so that the rivers and the streams of that Deccan Plateau makes deep valleys there, right? And it changes its smooth topography. So smooth topography, that the river and the river valleys had changes its smooth topography into a dissected plateau. So that plateau is not smooth, it has been dissected by the rivers present there, right? Now next is classification of plateaus. So there are two types of plateaus: intermountain plateau and volcanic plateau. So let's talk about the intermountain plateau. Intermountain plateau. So intermountain plateau means a plateau which is partially or entirely enclosed by the mountains or hills, right? So that is known as intermountain plateau. A plateau which is surrounded partially or entirely, fully enclosed by mountains or hills, right? Now the examples are Tibetan Plateau. So Plateau of Tibet is the world's highest plateau of the world. The Bolivian Plateau, and other examples are plateaus of Mexico, Mongolia, and Tarim Basin of Basin are the examples of this intermountain plateau. right? Now next is volcanic plateau. So volcanic plateau means which is formed by numerous small volcanic eruptions that slowly build up over time, forming a plateau from the resulting lava flows. So we know the structure of lava. So that structure makes that eruption of small volcano eruption of volcanic eruptions, small volcanic eruptions time to time slowly build up that type of plateau which is known as volcanic plateau, right? And because of the composition they are sometimes called basalt plateaus also, because of that lava, it contains lava. Volcano means it contains lava, so lava is basaltic in nature. That is why sometimes it is also known as basaltic or basalt plateau, right? Now the examples are the Columbia Plateau in Oregon and Washington, the Parana Plateau in Argentina, Central Siberian Plateau in Russia, and the Deccan Plateau in India are a well-known volcanic plateau. Clear? Okay. Now come to the next topic, plains. Now the next topic is plain. So what is a plain? A plain is relatively low-lying land surface with at least difference between its height. With least difference between its height and lowest point is called a plain. So plain is what? It's a low-lying area or land, right? So generally the plains do not have more than 160-meter height, but somewhere it is above, the plains are above 400-meter also. Okay, now many of the plains, they are smooth but somewhere they are undulating as well as slightly rolling also. So smooth doesn't means it's straight or in one straight, it is undulating. So undulating, it's maybe it's a slightly rolling, right? Now according to Finch and Trevartha, the term plain is applied to all land that is relatively low with respect to the sea level and has a local relief less than about 500 feet. So in another term, we can explain this plain as a low-lying area with having what with respect to a sea level and has a local relief or local height less than 500 feet. So we called it plain, it as a plain. Now most of the plains of the world are flat lowlands and may be above or below sea level, but they cannot be higher than surrounding areas. Clear? Okay, the Great Northern Plain of India, it's written here, are just 6 to 10 meter high near the mouth of Ganga river and attain an average of 200 meters height in Punjab and Haryana. The Kashmir Lake plain reaches a height of 1,700 meters above sea level. Now come to next classification of plains. There are two types of plains, structural plains and depositional plains. So let's talk about the first one, structural plains. Now structural plains, how they are formed? These are formed by endogenic forces. So endogenic forces, we know endogenic means it's a forces which has been exerted, the forces inside the earth, right? So that is endogenic forces, and these are either formed due to upliftment or subsidence of continental shelf, either the upliftment or subsidence of continental shelf. In this way the structural plains are formed. So here are the examples: the Great Coastal Plains of USA, the Malabar coastal plains of India, and these are due to upliftment of continental shelf, whereas the vast plain of Russia and the central lowland of Australia have been formed due to subsidence of the continental shelf, right? So the major factor is reason for this the structural plane is endogenic forces. Now next is depositional planes. The depositional planes are formed as a result of deposition of what? Deposition of sediments in lowlands such as depressions, lakes and seafloor. Most plains of the world are depositional plains. So this is point to be noted. Just underline, most of the plains of the world are depositional plains. Depositional plain is mainly done by rivers, glaciers. So these are the agents like rivers, glaciers, wind, sea waves and volcanic eruptions. Following are the chief types of depositional plains depending upon the agent of deposition. So here is a chart. So I'm going to read this chart and you just see the chart. Okay, just see this chart, types of plains and their formations. Here are the name of plains: alluvial plains, drift plains, lacustrine plains, loess plains, coastal plains and lava plains. Now how they are formed? Alluvial plains are formed due to deposition work of rivers and streams. This is drift plains are formed due to deposition done by glaciers or depositional work of glaciers. Deposition of sediments in a lake basin, that is lacustrine. And loess plains, depositional work of wind. Coastal plains, depositional work of sea waves. And lava plains, deposition done by a thin sheet of lava. So that is lava plain. Now here are the examples: Indo-Gangetic plain, Huanghe River or Huanghe Plains, the plains of North America and Northwest Europe, the Valley of Kashmir and this basin in Manipur hills also, Imphal. So valleys of Kashmir is example of lacustrine plains. Plains of West Punjab, plains of northwestern China is the example of loess plains, which is formed by deposition of wind. Coastal plains of Belgium and Netherlands is example of coastal plains, and that plain is formed due to deposition work of sea waves. And the plains of New Zealand and Argentina are this lava plain, example of lava plains, which is formed by deposition of thin sheet of lava. Okay, we have completed the chapter. Now just quickly take out your map and pencils so that we can mark all the major mountains, plateaus and plains around the world. Let's start. Okay, let's start map work. See the major plateaus around the world. So it's given in your book, page number 211, and the numbering is also done there. Number 1 is your Canadian Shield. Number 2 is your Plateau of Tibet. Number 3, Brazilian Highland. Number 4, Iranian Plateau. Number 5, Mongolian Plateau. And number 6, Patagonian Plateau. So now these we are going to mark on the map which we are having, right? Okay, take out your map, take pencil or color, whatever you are having, and just mark this. Give a symbol like this, or you can shade with color also, right? So this is your plateau around this Hudson Bay. This is Hudson Bay, and around this there is a plateau which is known as the Canadian Shield. Now come to the next. Here we have another plateau. It's a Brazilian Highland, or this one. This is your Brazilian Highland. Clear? Now third one, you just mark here. This is your Patagonian or Patagonian Plateau. Clear? Now come to the next. Just mark here. Here you have Iranian Plateau. Either you shade like this or you mark, give a symbol like this. Right? So this is Iranian Plateau. Now just above this India, here we have Tibetan Plateau or Plateau of Tibet. Clear? Now next we have here Mongolian Plateau. Which plateau? Mongolian Plateau. Clear? Okay. Now next, major water bodies around the world. Okay, now these are the water bodies around the world which consist of major seas, major gulfs, seas and oceans around the world, and it's given in your book page number 210, right? So at the topmost this North Ocean is your Arctic Ocean. Clear? And this is the southernmost ocean is known by Southern Ocean or Antarctic Ocean. Clear? This is Pacific Ocean, North Pacific Ocean, South Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, North Atlantic Ocean, South Atlantic Ocean. Then we have Indian Ocean. This is Indian Ocean. Just below, this is the only ocean which is named after a country, India. So this is Indian Ocean, right? Now here comes, this is Pacific Ocean only, right? North Pacific, South Pacific Ocean, Arctic Ocean, Antarctic Ocean, North Atlantic, South Atlantic, North Pacific Ocean, South Pacific Ocean. Clear? Okay. Now come to the seas and gulfs. Okay, now these oceans you are going to mark yourself. Now let's see this. This small water body is your Hudson Bay. Hudson, Hudson Bay. Now come to this. This is Gulf of Mexico. 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 Gulf of Mexico. Are you seeing 8 number? So that 8 number is Gulf of Mexico. Clear? 7th. It's written here, but the water body is here. This blue one. This is Hudson Bay. Gulf of Mexico, Caribbean Sea, Caribbean, Caribbean Sea. This is Caribbean Sea. Clear? Now come to this side. This 9th one, this small water body, right? So this 9th one is Gulf of Guinea. This is Gulf of Guinea. Clear? Now come to this 11th one. This is here. This is Strait of Gibraltar, which joins this Africa with this continent. Clear? So this is Strait of Gibraltar. Now come to this second one. This is North Sea. North Sea. Clear? Now this third small water body is Black Sea. Clear? Black Sea. Fourth one, Caspian Sea. Caspian Sea. Clear? Okay, come to this fifth one, Mediterranean Sea. Mediterranean Sea. This Mediterranean Sea. Clear? Is that clear? Okay, now next is, okay, just see 12th one. This is your Strait of Malacca. Strait of Malacca. This is Persian Gulf. Persian Gulf. The small water body, blue dot, blue this. small water body, Persian Gulf. Clear? Now see this 13th one, very famous, South China Sea. South China Sea. Clear? Now 6th one is your Gulf of Carpentaria. Gulf of Carpentaria, this one. Clear? And here we have Tasman Sea. It's not written there. Just do write between this Tasmania and Australia. We have a sea, small water body. This is Tasmanian Sea. So do write this as 14. Tasmanian Sea. Tasmanian Sea. Clear? Okay. That's all for the day, children. So I want everybody doing this map work, and just do practice it as much as you can. Right, children? Okay, in the next video, we'll do some more map work, and we'll revise some chapters also, right? For your half-yearly exam. Right, children? Okay, that's all for the day. Thank you.